Hey everybody, it's Pete. Good morning. Welcome to Stock Trading Pro. Thanks so much for joining me today. We got a ton of stuff to talk about today. The market imploded a little bit yesterday. We actually drew a big pennant on the S&P 500 and we're looking for it to, we call it tip its hand and get out of that box. And yesterday it got out of the box. What made it a little bit confusing was when the Fed minutes came out on Wednesday and the market had that rally, it really just didn't make any sense because the Fed didn't say anything different that we didn't already react to. I think the challenge that a lot of people are having right now, why it feels like the stock market's going back and forth, and quite frankly, why it's a little bit challenging right now to find the best stocks to buy right now is because we don't have clarity. The market itself does not have clarity. Now, I want to separate the market itself from individual ideas and dropping down deeper into individual sectors and industry groups. So what we're actually going to talk about today, we have a question from, let me actually just pull this up on the screen because I want to bring this up. We have a question from somebody named Mike Milano that was brought up yesterday. I'm going to address this question. And what's kind of interesting is this question is going to touch on this and it's going to touch on this because we get a bunch of really solid questions, quite honestly, from you that how do I set up my screens and how do I do all that kind of stuff? So I think what's kind of fun is we go back and forth on your questions in the comments, and then I come back when I have, obviously, when I can get it organized, what's the best way for me to continue to give it back to you? So what we've done is I have posted setups, videos on how to set up your screen the way I'm talking about, and the template for the watch list ideas that I do every day, because we get a lot of questions about this. So what I basically want to walk you through is inside of our Facebook group. Okay, so obviously it's a Facebook group. It's free. There's no charge for it, but I want to continue to give back because I want you to really level up your trading. Inside the Facebook group, we posted, there's two videos in there. Let me actually show you that. First one is here is how to set up your trading screens, which is a pretty detailed video on walking you through how to do everything as far as actually putting your screens together so that they look like this, okay? The other part of it is the download. So 3 pillars to trading success, that's a popular video in there, but more importantly, the research. We get a ton of questions about how do you do the research, how do you set up the research, how do you do the sector rotation, and how do you set up your screen so the top stocks are set up this way. So what we've done inside the Facebook group is give you all of that. There's 3 steps to trading success, which covers what we talk about all the time, stacking the order flow, tape reading, and risk reversal. So we talk about that. We give a lot of detail in those videos. That's just the first video. The second video is exactly how I set up my trading screens. Now, I'm using TradeStation as an example, but you can do the same exact thing so that when you're looking to buy stocks, you actually have it all set up. But then we take it a step further. Inside of the Facebook group, you also have the spreadsheet. It's a template for you to understand how I build out these lists every day and how the sector rotation is worked every day. So all you need to do is sign up for the Facebook group. There's no cost to it. The link is in the description below the video. So you want to make sure you get in there. If you haven't been in there yet, we have 1,100 people in there right now. So we're also having a lot of good conversations too. So it doesn't matter if you're trading stocks, options, crypto, Forex, futures. It's the Top Trading Pros Facebook group. So again, I just want to keep giving back. Only you can decide if you want to go a little bit deeper and get into our Discord community. But if you want to stick with that and join us in the group, you have those 2 videos. You have the template. All you need to do is click below and get into Top Trading Pros Facebook group. And I'd love to see you on the other side. You can ask a little bit more questions over there as well. So now we're going to hop on over into what we talked about prior. Is we're going to talk about some stocks that got hit. We're going to talk about the market. We're going to talk about, is Palantir stock, PLTR, a buy the dip at this really reduced level? We're going to compare it to a different stock. We're also going to talk about ROKU stock, which took an absolute smashing yesterday and pre-market again this morning. And are those opportunities to buy the dip, or are they stay away? There's a problem with those companies. And what do they need to look like in order for us to get involved? Alex Karp of Palantir is a very polarizing CEO. However, one thing I want to talk about is their company business model. And I have a lot of experience in that because I've been an entrepreneur since 1988. And I have a really good analogy to discuss what PLTR looks like and why that needs to change. And we're going to do that in just 1 second. So stick around. I'll be right back. Okay, so thank you so much for joining me here today, everybody. Remember, make sure you go into that description and get in the Facebook group. You'll get all that other training. Obviously, everything we discuss here is for educational purposes. One other thing I want to announce too, and I'm going to give, you're going to have access to this next week. I need to do some editing and whatnot. We have multiple coaching calls per week, and I think that they are one of the most valuable things that we do. Besides our game plan meetings, which start every day at 8:30 in the morning, an hour before the market opens, where I'm basically walking through why your call outs, my call outs, and why something's a good stock to buy that day, why it might not be a good stock to buy that day, why something might be a short sale. The game plan meetings are kind of like a masterclass 5 days a week, 20 times a month, where we're going back and forth on good ideas and entry prices and all that kind of stuff. But here's the thing, and I want you to think about this for next week. The market's closed on Monday, so this will be Tuesday. We're not going to have a live stream on Monday. I'm going to offer you on Monday next week a chance to watch last night's coaching call video. It was almost 90 minutes. By the time I'm done editing and whatnot, it'll probably end up being about an hour. I got loud. I got passionate. For those of you that are here in our community who happen to be in the boot camp already with me or on the Order Flow Pro side of things, last night I challenged people. Last night was pretty much an entire session of me going at you, challenging you, and putting it back on you that whether or not you are a massive success as a stock trader, it comes down to participating. Now, I applaud you if you're on this call with me live right now, or if you're watching it later, but especially if you're on the call with me live Monday through Friday, 7:30 in the morning Eastern time, 2 hours before the market opens. That's showing that you have the desire to want to improve. You're here with me super early in the morning. There's a lot of other people who are still sleeping, maybe at the bagel store. You're here. But what I covered in last night's coaching call was very important, because I'm shining a light right back on you and asking you, are you doing the little things that lead to big success? And I spent a lot of time on that video last night talking about what those little things are. And I challenge you. It's a big part of the DNA of our Discord community that I will not let you be lazy. I will not let you have excuses for why you're not making money right now. I will not let you say there is not opportunity. There is plenty of opportunity right now. But here's the difference between 3 months ago and now. Now you need to do a little bit more game planning. Now you need to be a little bit better of a stock picker. The market is not going to save you right now if you make some bad decisions. That means that you need to do markets, sector, industry group, and we're kind of hovering on that top two parts of the pyramid right now, which are industry groups and individual stocks. There's plenty of ideas in individual stocks right now, but as I said, what I talked about last night, and I'll give you a chance to watch this video next Tuesday, you need to do a little bit more. If you believe you are going to make six figures or more in the stock market, if you are going to force the stock market to make you money, it's imperative that you spend at least an hour a day, Sunday through Thursday night, to prepare for the next day. If you do not spend that much time, you're going to feel like the market is beating you up right now, and you're going to feel like you lost your ability to be a trader. This right now is the perfect opportunity to hone your strategy, the perfect opportunity to ask good questions about stuff that you don't know, stuff that you're not sure about, stuff that you feel will level you up. And I'm going to give you one little idea last night. Raise your hand right now if the market's challenging. It's challenging for everybody. Just do me a favor. Type yes in there, right? Type yes. Okay, so I just want to address this, okay? I'm doing a free YouTube video right now. This guy's saying I'm not a real trader. I'm trading for 22 years. I have a community of several hundred people that watch me call out trades every single day. So I have no idea who you are, but calling me out and saying I'm not a real trader is complete garbage. You, my friend, have no idea what you're talking about. And there's a bunch of people in our community right now that can refute what you just said. And I'm going to call you out on it because I'm not afraid to do that, because I work my tail off and I'm trading with everybody every single day. So anyway, Look, I work hard. I'm not afraid to go at somebody because I work my tail off. And everybody who's in my community knows that I'm trading with you every day. So here's the point that I was making before we got interrupted, okay? Here's the point that I'm making. In this current market condition, you should have questions. With the way the market's trading right now and the way that the market is making a lot of people be confused right now, this is the moment that you should have more questions about what am I missing and what am I not understanding. In this current market, for somebody to be in our community, whether it's here, whether it's in Discord, whether it's in my Mastery Collective Mastermind, if you're not asking questions, you're not trying hard enough. So whether you're here on these calls, whether you take the step and invest in yourself and get into our private community, that's completely up to you. Obviously, again, you can go into our Facebook group, like I said before. But I want to tell you this. Now is the time to learn. And here's why. And this is what you have to have in the back of your mind. Is it a little bit challenging right now? Yeah, it is. However, for somebody to say right now that there is no opportunity when we have ideas like this unfolding on a daily basis, and ideas like this on a daily basis, and ideas like this on a daily basis over the last 3 or 4 weeks. So we're looking at NUE. We're looking at Alcoa. We're looking at NEM. We're looking at AEM. For you right now to be complaining that there's no opportunity, it simply means that you need to raise your game. The market is telling you you want that unlimited upside right now. You need to raise your game. And I can't say it any other way. And I think that that guy's got a set of, you know what, to call me out and knows nothing about me. Sorry, dude, you're wrong. I'm doing this a long time. I care passionately about whether members of our community succeed. And for you to say I'm not a trader, you have no idea what the hell you're talking about. And I'm sorry for saying that word. Anyway, let's get on over into today's ideas. We're obviously talking about PLTR today. Now, PLTR is a very polarizing stock. Their CEO kind of looks like Einstein. Everybody either loves this guy, hates this guy. But the bottom line is the company's not making money. And that's really the bottom line right now. And I want to compare this to something that I had way back in the day when my family had, we were in food service. We had a deli. This is like in the early 80s and whatnot. We had one giant customer, and it was Home Depot. We had this big Home Depot was right across the street from us, and they brought in a large percentage of our revenue, which was awesome at the time. However, one giant customer puts your company in a very tough situation, because if that one customer stops giving you business, your company's hurting. Right now, PLTR has one giant customer, and it's the U.S. government. They need to figure out a way to use their what is apparently extremely advanced technology for other ways, similar to what Microsoft did and Amazon, and where instead of having one giant customer bringing all your revenue in, you have 1,000 customers bringing you in that same dollar amount or more, and your company is more stable, and your expectations for growth will move from there. PLTR has that problem right now, and I've talked about this every time we talk about Palantir stock, and the stock and the company has not changed that. So what am I looking for at PLTR right now? Well, am I going to be bidding for this thing heading down $11, $10? No. The same reason that we did not look to be buying Tilray on the way down and any of these other stocks that are getting absolutely crushed, because they're getting crushed for a reason. They're getting crushed because their company is not providing good outlook based on the way the company is being run now. I don't care if you love the guy, Alex Karp, and all the other things that are going on there. The bottom line is the numbers don't lie. The numbers don't lie, and what's going on right now with this company is they're not improving. So I get a lot of private messages. I get a lot of people asking me about, is this a deal down now? Is it a deal down at this level? I love Alex Karp. I love the passion with what he does. It doesn't matter. None of that matters if the company's not doing money. Do not get married to a company or an idea that is not validating the reason you want to be in that in the first place. And there's a lot of other ideas, such as Net, for example, which seems to be rebounding a little bit now. But we're going to get into a much bigger idea. Let's say you love this idea. When the stock has a $140 sell-off, $140. At what point are you saying that the idea that I have is not valid right now? Which is going to take us into the next idea, which is Roku. Roku also got hit. And we're going to zoom this out a little bit more because it was even higher. It was up in this nearly $500. Roku revenue missed on supply chain snags. Shares fell 20%. You know what the problem with Roku is right now? That Roku is competing with other streaming services that do not provide hardware. You need a Roku. Roku provides hardware. You got to go to the store and buy the Roku box, buy the Roku thing. On top of that, now in this article, they're talking about making televisions. So the hardware service that they have now is not working. Now they're talking about more hardware. That's not a good sign. It's not. They're talking about now they're going to be spending more money on something they're going to have smaller margins on, as opposed to fighting Disney and Amazon and all these other companies that are streaming only services where you don't need to have the hardware in order to use what they do. So what we're talking about now is more business perspective and whether or not you can build an argument for looking to buy these stocks. Until I see those two things change, where you don't need to go buy hardware for Roku, I'm not going to be looking to buy the stock. Until I see PLTR have more than one giant customer, I am not looking to buy the stock. It's just basic math and how the companies run. I understand that some people love these companies. I get that. It's a question here about small caps, right? I don't trade small caps. I don't trade penny stocks. The way that we do things is we look for the market leaders. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm telling you that's the way I trade. If you want to trade penny stocks, you want to trade OTC stocks, go for it. It's just not the way I do things. The way I trade and the way most active traders trade, most professional traders, we look for the market leaders, and from 1 month to the next, 1 week to the next, 1 year to the next, we are looking from quarter to quarter. Where is that money flowing now? Which kind of takes us into the question that Michael had right here. Any tips for day trading? We day trade all day. It's a big part of our community. So I want to get into Michael's question here, which has a lot to do with the software. So this is a good question. I have a bunch of stocks that I have on my watch list with alerts going long, but once they break out and pause or start reversing, I take them off my watch list or check the list every night to see how they're doing. Thanks, and your videos are a great help. So obviously, we already talked about learning how to build the software. The software is a big part of answering Michael's question, because once the software is put together, and it doesn't matter if you're using TradeStation platform, Thinkorswim, Interactive Brokers, TradingView charting platform, eSignal, it doesn't make a difference. Setting up your watch list, and it doesn't matter if you have a list of 500 stocks, 50 stocks, or 10 stocks, when it's set up properly to tell you how to stack the order flow, which is from one day to the next, 1 week to the next, from February's opening price, from Monday's opening price, from today's opening price, you now have the order flow stacked. And it doesn't matter if you have 50 stocks, because only the stocks that meet that perfect criteria are going to be the ones at the top. So here's what's kind of cool. Well, if it could be 50 stocks, but only 5 right now meet that perfect criteria. That's what I'm talking about when I say you need to set your watch list and all of your platform up after hours. You need to do that on the weekends. We actually have a conversation going on now in Discord about somebody who's understanding now, after asking a lot of basic questions, that you don't set up your software when the market's open. You have to do that at night. You have to do that on the weekends. How you spend your spare time is going to dictate how you spend your future. This is all the work that gets done after hours. So in relation to Michael's question, first off, I want to say, once they break out and pause or start reversing, should I take them off my watch list? The answer is absolutely no. If they meet your personal criteria, as long as they still, and we need to separate the trade didn't work versus it's no longer valid. Big difference. And this is something that most people never learn as traders, where you put on a trade, it doesn't work. You spent all that time building an argument for the idea, and that one trade didn't work. Now, we talk about that a lot here, which is, if you have an edge, awesome. Obviously, our edge is order flow and tape reading, right? But the very definition of an edge means it works most of the time, which also means that sometimes it doesn't work. So get out of your head that you think every trade needs to work at that same moment. Because in Michael's question here is, if you built the argument to put stocks in your watch list and they meet your criteria, but they pause or start reversing, should you take them out of your list? No, that just means in that moment, remember, we talk about a push and a pause, a push and a pause. So if it's pausing, okay, big deal. look for another spot to add to that position. There's a difference, though, between it's no longer valid and pausing and reversing. You need a strategy that determines, is it still valid? Is this a pause in the context of it being still valid? Or is it now telling me the conditions have reversed? Which kind of brings us over into the energy stocks right now. So we've been talking about the energy stocks. They've been on fire for the better part of 2022, and you've got a push and a pause, a push and a pause, a push and a pause, a push, and now we're kind of going sideways. And this is a big tip that I want to give you, and this is something that we talk about all the time. The time frame to determine if the tape has changed is the weekly charts. So the daily charts for day trading and swing trading are where we're getting our ideas. And we get this question a lot. Do you call out swing trades? I got news for you. 95% of the ideas that I call out and give every day are swing trades. And again, just to give you an idea of the size of the list of the ideas, this is the game plan coming into today. So I want to give you this list. That's the game plan coming into today. So we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 17, 21, 28. There's roughly 30 ideas on the swing trading side. I'm sorry, let me actually make that bigger for you so you can take a snapshot of that one. Okay, you can take a quick snapshot on that. There's roughly 30 stocks in there, maybe even a little bit more. But the point that I want to get across is that all of my ideas first are swing trades. If I don't like them on the swing trading time frame, then I'm dropping down to shorter time frames and the edge is a little bit less. Can you trade on those micro time frames? 100%. I have a lot of friends that do. I don't like to go below the 5 minute for my day trades because it's just a little bit too active. I don't really like that. It's higher time frames and then I look for entries, right? But my point is this: energy stocks and the XLE energy ETF have been on fire since January. Those have been the stocks that on the daily chart, we're reading the tape, we're looking for the optimal entry, we're maintaining the push and the pause, getting back to Michael's question. So they're remaining in the list, but if they happen to provide an opportunity that right now is pausing, other stocks will rally to the top of your list that become opportunities. So once you identify the stocks that meet your personal criteria, leave them in your list, sort your watch list properly, the way I'm talking about here, and the best of the best in your game plan will always be at the top of your watch list for the most recent opportunities. But here's what I want to talk about, okay? Here's what I want to talk about. We're talking about here on the daily chart and recognizing the pushes and the pauses, right? Right here, we're now starting to see the weekly chart, very similar to here, where it's not well bid like it was. So here's the difference. 3 weeks of well bid and then well offered here. So the tape has changed just a little bit, okay? So now, you know what? I guess this is the morning we're going to do it, okay? All right? Shouldn't you be making millions trading instead of wasting your time on YouTube? So let me ask you a question. For everybody that's on this call right now, raise your hand if you have a job. Raise your hand if you have a job. So probably 95% of the people that are watching these videos, whether it's mine or somebody else's, you watch YouTube videos and you're like, okay, I have a job and I want to make money in the market. Perfect. Why not, right? So JC, why can't I run a business and trade at the same time? How does that make any sense that you can have a job and trade, but I can't have a business and trade at the same time as well? So again, JC, I don't know you, probably will never meet you, but to pass judgment on me and have no idea about anything other than watching me on YouTube, quite frankly, says a lot more about you than it does about me. So look in the mirror, JC. Look, if this is tough and I'm sorry, I work too hard. I work way too hard. If you don't want to watch these videos, change the channel, dude. I'm not asking you to watch them. I appreciate it, but to be calling me out when you know nothing about me, you have a job and you're making the stock market as your side business. Why can't I do something even bigger and have a successful business and be a professional stock trader? Because you can't do it doesn't mean that I can't do it. Look in the mirror if you're calling me out on a free YouTube video. You got some work to do on yourself. So I'm going to work my way over into some of the best ideas today because we're actually running out of time here. I'm going to work my way over into some of the top ideas on the daily charts for today. So we already mentioned that the energy stocks are kind of cooling off a little bit, and the tape is changing a little bit right now. You can see that we gapped down and have not filled that gap, and they're a little bit more on the bearish side, right? Now, when I say on the bearish side, what I mean is we're not pushing up, pausing, and rallying again. CVX, which was one of the leaders, actually gapped down and is now holding that gap. So it's not bearish. It just means that the bullish momentum, the bullish order flow needs to reestablish itself. But this is kind of cool. So it's going back into the comment that Mike made, which is essentially that right now it's not meeting the perfect criteria because it gapped down and it's going sideways. But now other stocks will start to float higher, which has been the basic material stocks, which we're going to take a look at right now. Okay. So NEM is one that's been taking off. And this is actually the first time it's breaking out above 65. Now, this is an interesting one because we get this question all the time. That's great. But when you call it out, somebody had mentioned it yesterday that it's already rallied a bit, right? That's fine. So now you wait. This is the point. Remember, we talk every day about a tracking journal and a trading journal. What we're doing here on these videos is talking about ideas, hopefully helping you build your edge in the markets. So if it's rallied too far, too fast, by the time we talk about it, maybe it wasn't in your game plan at that time. Now, like Mike's question before, this needs to go into your watch list, and now you look for the optimal entry. So if they've gone beyond what they normally do and the risk reward doesn't make sense at this moment, this still needs to be in your watch list. So what are you looking for? We've just had the push. Now we're waiting for the pause for the next entry. So I'm going to give you a few stocks that meet that criteria now, and then we're going to actually watch a stock, a couple of other ideas. So NEM and AEM have really, really picked up in order flow and volatility. Okay. Next, we're going to talk about AA, which quite frankly, we've been talking about AA since the beginning of February, and specifically here since this breakout on February 3rd. We've been watching this level and it's been rallying. NUE actually just continued to rally. This pause right here was probably one of the better trades right here. All right, let me actually get this dude out of here. I have to tell you, I don't understand. Why would you wake up at 7:30 in the morning to badmouth somebody you've never met? I'm sorry, I'm Italian. I don't get it. I don't understand. Why would you do that? If you'd wake up early in the morning to badmouth somebody who's trying to help, dude, you got a problem. I'm sorry. That problem's on you. It's not on me. All right. So we're mostly talking about basic material type stocks. NUE. Now, if you remember earlier in the week on Monday and Tuesday, we said NUE 122 is having a lot of problems. We need to get up to that level, watch it pause at that level, which it's doing right now. And then if it gets out of this level, that's going to set up the next piece of the trade. So right now it's not an open position because it's having a hard time still at this level, which is the 122 level right there. So we need to get out of this level, and you can see it's not there. But again, getting back to Mike's question, I'm not taking it out of my list. It's still in the list. I'm waiting for the alert to trigger before I put on the next trade. Okay. So some other stocks that meet the criteria for today that I'm looking to be a buyer of right now. These are ideas that are in the game plan now that have optimal entries that we're looking to be a buyer of today. And that list of stocks is, first, we're going to stick with some energy stocks. So Oxy has now rallied, paused, and very similar to CVX has now paused. So we're looking for the next move. Oxy, I'm looking for it to get above 41. SLB, so it's sticking with energy, but we're waiting for them to reestablish themselves. So SLB is a little bit different. Consolidated for 3 weeks, bullish gap, and now it's paused. So we're looking for SLB to take off. And by the way, I just want to bring this up. This is what separates traders from chart readers. Okay, somebody who's trying to be right versus somebody who's trying to make money. We have a lot of ideas that we talk about, right? And you saw before, I probably have 30 stocks in today's game plan. You put those stocks in the game plan, and the software, when the software is put together properly, it floats to the top of the list of ideas that are following through. So I have a bunch of stocks that are in my best stocks to buy today, right? Some of them are going to go up. Some of them are going to go down. Some of them I'll take the entry and they follow through and we make money. Some of them we take the entry, they reverse, and we take a stop loss. That's trading. Not every trade, as soon as you hit buy, it just goes up and doesn't pull back. All we care about is at the end of the month, did our account go up? That's real trading. And that's the kind of stuff that I'm hoping that I could give everybody, even here, just in these YouTube videos, that if you take a loss on a trade, that does not make it a bad idea. It makes it a trade that didn't follow through. So if you go back to the very definition of what a trading edge is, that means most of the time it's going to work. Sometimes it's not. It's those sometimes it's not. That's we have some people that just focus too much on, well, you said it was going to go up and it didn't go up. Okay, that's a part of trading. You take the loss and you go back to the next idea. So I just want to make sure I float that out there because that's what real trading is. Okay, so SLB is in the list for today. Alcoa, as we said, has been in the list, and Alcoa actually paused yesterday. So until we see a reason not to, I'm going to be looking to buy Alcoa. Philip Morris, hopefully we've been watching Philip Morris all week, actually on this breakout. So hopefully last week you had this in your watch list. And actually, this is a good one as well, because remember, we've been talking about Philip Morris for probably a few weeks at this breakout level right here. When it rallied here, so we're talking about end of January. So think about that, end of January, and didn't trigger for 10 days after that. So that's actually a good stock to use as an example of a stock that met the criteria, needs to be in your watch list every day because it's still valid, but didn't give you the entry yet. So PM is another one that's in the watch list. Good question yesterday about UPST. Okay, so a lot of people talking about this and this big move to the upside. It turned into a really good day trade. What I want to see in UPST right now, who asked that question? I forgot who asked it. It's in here somewhere. Oh, Andy. So Andy, on UPST right now, the biggest thing they're looking at, if you remember we just talked about before and stacking the order flow, awesome, right? Broke that big downtrend. Earnings would blow out, traded up 36% in one day. Fantastic. Now, what I'm looking for are buyers to continue to step up and hold, and it looks like they're going to. Yesterday was a little bit of profit taking, but remember what we said on the day that earnings came out. I'm going to zoom out to a little bit deeper, shorter time frame, just so that we can get a little bit better perspective. When UPST gapped, we said that it needs to hold the opening price. We drew this the day of the gap, and look at that, right down to that exact number that it held that bid. So as long as UPST stays at that level or above, that's my line in the sand. So Andy, that's the level I'm watching for. And pretty cool that yesterday it actually pulled right back to that level held, and so far this morning. So that's the trade. And you know what I'm going to show you? I'm going to show you a trade that set up similar, that turned into a losing trade, but the same exact criteria. Because look, got to be transparent. There's trades that work out, trades that don't work out, which is Morgan Stanley. So we're going to take a look at Morgan Stanley here, obviously with the specter of interest rates, obviously with interest rates about to rise, assuming that they're going to actually take action. Banks and financial instruments have a wider margin, so that should be good for banks and financial instruments because their margins are going to expand. They haven't raised interest rates yet. They keep telling everybody they're going to. So short term, the banks are taking a little bit more of a hit, but that's the thesis. That's the argument behind the idea. So the same thing we just talked about in UPST, I put on a swing trade in Morgan Stanley this week. We called it out to the community. And here's the idea and how we came into the day. And we're talking about right here. Okay, so this here is price action from Monday, right? So Monday unfolded, and then on Tuesday, we said right there, this price is the opening price for the week. So the way that we built the trade out is Morgan Stanley just hit all-time highs. Interest rates are going to be rising soon, according to the Fed, and we just pulled back from all-time highs. So the trade scenario here is we were reading the tape. We said if it gets back above Monday's highs, we're looking to reestablish a new Monday's opening price. If it gets back above that level, we'll look to establish a new swing trade long, looking for new all-time highs, and that would be a swing trade in Morgan Stanley. Well, here's how it ended up unfolding. So the next day, Morgan Stanley here did trade above Monday's opening price. So we put the trade on, and actually you can see it's still mapped out here. This was the entry on this day when we got above Monday's price. So we were reading the tape there, coming back from all-time highs. This day here, below here, was the stop loss. So we had the whole trade outlined. All-time high, pullback, interest rates are good for these, got back above Monday's opening price, reading the tape, put the trade on, right? The stop loss was below the day that we reversed. So Monday's low is the stop for the swing. You can see what ended up happening over the next 2 days. So this gave us the entry. The next day traded lower, stopped us out, and traded down again. Does that not mean it was a bad trade? No, I had a great argument for the idea. It just didn't follow through. The more you understand that as a trader, that you can place good trades that simply don't follow through, and still be a good trader and still be a profitable trader over time, as long as you have discipline to get out where you're supposed to, which is what we talked about here in Morgan Stanley. This was the stop loss, got stopped out here. It was the accepted loss. So we're not sitting in this stock pushing down and having a big move against us. So that's a real world trade that we built the argument for the trade, just pulled back from all-time highs, waited for it to trade positive on the week, and it just didn't follow through. So if you want to be successful, position yourself in the long run to be successful as a trader, you have to mentally accept the risk. You have to mentally accept that some trades that are great ideas are going to follow through. Some trades that are good ideas are not going to follow through. As long as you maintain your discipline on the trades that don't and learn how to hold good trades longer, that's the secret sauce. No matter how you look at the market, stochastics, MACD, RSI, Elliott wave, all of those things, all of them work. But it really comes down to, can you kick out the losers and learn how to hang on to the winners? That's what trading's all about. We got pretty fired up here today. Look, obviously I respect everybody, but if you think you're going to come into my house and badmouth me on YouTube, you're wrong. I'm from New York. I'm going to go right back at you, and I'm not being disrespectful to anybody. I'm telling you right now, if you want to be here and I provide value, God, I hope I do. If I am, I love talking and having these conversations every day. But if you come here and you're going to challenge me and open your mouth about something you have no idea, I'm from New York. I'm going to go right back at you. And especially because I've been trading since 2000, April 17th of 2000. To come on here and tell me that you think that I'm not a trader and you've never met me ever, get a life, dude. Get a life, because you know nothing about me. I have too much passion to do this. I love helping. And if I'm not helping you, take a hike. Don't watch the videos. I want only people here who understand that what we're doing is trying to improve. I'm not for everybody. If I'm not for you, change the channel. If I am, do me a favor. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and I'll see you next week. Thank you so much, everybody. I really appreciate it.